Hey y'all, I'm Janice Levine and welcome back to Jen on Books. Today I'm going to be sharing with you all of the books that I read in 2023. So I have some physical copies here. I have my Kindle, which I have read one book and a possible on that one as well. And then the rest of them I listened to on Audible. So we're going to go ahead and get into this entire list. I'm also going to be sharing with you some quick thoughts on what I thought about each of these books. I'm not going to take too much time doing that because I am going to do some separate like book review videos. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get right into it. So the first book that I want to share is called What We Found in Hallelujah. This is a Christian fiction book by Vanessa Miller. Vanessa Miller is an OG. I've been reading her since I was a teenager. She has so many books out and she is such an incredible author. This book was about family dynamics and family relationships, which I can absolutely relate to. It was so good. I struggled with the ending a little bit, though. I'm not even gonna hold you because, like I said, I can relate to it. And I just wanted something a little bit more happy. But that's not life. You know, life sometimes is not fair. Life doesn't always give you happy endings. But this was certainly a great book. And I really enjoyed it. If you enjoy Christian fiction, you'll definitely enjoy this. A little bit of taste of romance up in here. Not too much, but just enough. I hope that she does like a sequel to this because I would love to know more about the oldest sister's story, and I would love to hear more about just her life and like what she's been doing the past 20 years up until this point. So yeah, that's just some really good twists and turns in this book as well. So yeah, definitely make sure you pick it up if you like Christian fiction. So the next book that I want to talk about is By the Grace of God. This is another Christian fiction book by Keisha Dawn. Again, this is a book that I read years ago. I had to be like a teenager. And I don't know if you see this little logo at the top. When I used to go to the library, there was a whole section of books with that little logo at the top, and it says Urban Christian. Apparently, this was an imprint where they were writing urban Christian fiction stories, and I used to eat them up, honey. Eat it up, eat it up, eat it up, eat it up. Okay, so these books were really good to me because it gave you the drama. They spilled the tea, okay? They were going in, but no spice and no vulgar language or anything like that. But when I tell you that the tea was being spilled, it was being spilled. I know a lot of people do not like Christian fiction because they're like, oh, it's dry, it's boring, blase, squaze. But this one was good. Okay, there was some drama, there was some things going on. Definitely a book about this woman and her friend who co-own a business, and also there is a dynamic with her boyfriend who got some secrets going on. And when you get to the bottom of the secrets, child, so a really good book. I thoroughly enjoyed reading this again. This is actually the book that sparked me back into reading this year. I'm always reading, but in the past years I've been reading a lot of nonfiction, and I just needed to just relax, relate, release. Okay, I needed some fiction. I need some fun in my reading repertoire, and so this was the one that got me back into it. And I'm telling you, after I finished reading it, I just completely went on a rant to my poor husband and just was like, yo, you gotta know about this. So anyway, let me not go on any longer about this. Really good book, full of drama, full of mess, but no spice and no vulgar language. So if you like the type of thing, this is your go-to, okay? By the Grace of God by Keisha Dawn. So if you do not know, I am a gospel singer-songwriter. I will share the links to my music down in the description box below, as well as my other channel where I try to chronicle and log my life as a gospel music minister. But anyway, I say all that to say this. I read this book here, The Beginner's Guide to the Gospel Music Industry. I am always reading books to help me learn the music business because the music business is ever changing. It is ever evolving. So yeah, I found out about this book and ate it up. Okay, this I think was probably I was gonna say my favorite. I'm gonna say in the top 3 of gospel music or music business books that I have ever read. It is not a big book at all. This book is by Monica Coates. She is an executive in the gospel music industry. But this, I just feel like she gets it. She understands, okay? And this book was so good. If you want me to do a haul on all of my music business, gospel music business books, please let me know in the comments and I'll do that. But this one is definitely top 3, okay? Because it was so good. She gets it. And she has a proven track record. So this is someone that you can listen to and glean their advice and apply it and have success. All right. So this was such a good book. I would recommend this to anybody that wants to be in the gospel music industry on any level, whether you are an artist, you want to be a songwriter, producer, executive, whatever level you're trying to be on, you need to go ahead and read this book. So this year must have been the year of the series for me, okay? Because I want to say I read like 4 or 5 series, and child, I was eating it up. It was just so good to my soul. And also this year, I started reading mystery thrillers. So, I had to jump on the Freida McFadden bandwagon, okay? I kept seeing this book all over the place, and people was just like, oh my gosh, it was so good. So I went ahead and picked it up. And baby, the twists and the turns that this book takes, I wasn't ready. I was not ready. Okay, so immediately, while I was reading this book, I went ahead and bought the second one. I read 24 books and 2 possible. This is one of the possible. I haven't finished it yet because, again, sometimes I can be a squirrel reader, and yeah, something else caught my attention and I just went over to that. So I have not finished this yet, but I do plan on finishing it. This is the last week in December, so I do plan on finishing it. I have a little bit of ways to go. This is what I've read, and this is what I have left. But if you have read any of Freida McFadden's books, you already know that these books read so fast, you will be hooked. And yeah, I'm just going to take me a moment, maybe on Saturday this week, and just sit down a couple hours to myself and just finish the rest of the second book. Because baby, the turns. Let me just say this real quick. I'm not going to go too far deep because I'm going to do a standalone book on this series. Sidebar, the 3rd book in this series comes out in June, and I can't wait. I'm going to do a sidebar review on this book series, but I'm going to just say this real quick. I cannot stand the main character. Can't stand her. I just feel like Freida has a way of writing these main characters that just blatantly dismiss all the red flags. And I feel like that's what the main character in these books did. But it's so good because when you get to the plot twists and the turns, you be like, girl, okay? So yeah, Freida McFadden this year was giving me my entire lifestyle, and I thoroughly enjoyed these 2. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and finish the second one because when June comes, we're going to be out here for this 3rd book. All right. So yes. So the next series is a Christian fiction series. It is a biblical retelling of the story of Rahab. And yeah, these books are called I Am Rahab by J.C. Miller. So I went ahead and purchased all 3 of these, and they are very small books. So it didn't take a long time to read all 3 of these. But again, for y'all that do not like Christian fiction because you say, oh, it's corny, it's boring, it's baby, this ain't corny. This is not corny. This is not dry. Child, they got drugs. They got stripping. All types of stuff in these books. It is a biblical retelling, like I said, of the story of Rahab. And if y'all know about Rahab in the Bible, the retelling was very real. And this series was so good. Again, I'm going to do a standalone review on this series. Man, such a good book series, an incredible author. I do have 2 more of her books. One that I read last year that I'm going to read again called They Call Me Gomer, which is connected to this one. And then I have My Name is Mary Magdalene, again, which is connected to this one. Baby, this series got it all, okay? It's giving romance, it's giving drugs, it's giving violence, it's giving abuse. Child! The drama is drama-ing, okay? So if you like Christian fiction, or if you want to get into Christian fiction, but you don't want nothing boring or corny, J.C. Miller. J.C. Miller. J.C. Miller. J.C. Miller. Do yourself a favor and read some J.C. Miller, okay? So the next book series that I read, was Kennedy Ryan's Skyland. Am I saying that right? Skyland series. The first book that I read, which was on Audible, was Before I Let Go. I'm not gonna get into it because I'm gonna do a standalone review for those, for that series as well. And then I was blessed to receive an art copy of the second book in this series, which is called This Could Be Us. Again, I'm not gonna say too much, but baby, I'm living for Kennedy Ryan at this point. At this point, I'm living for Kennedy Ryan. She is a grown woman that writes fiction for grown women. Okay? If I was the teenager, I do not think I would be able to appreciate any of her writing because, you know, as a teenager, I just did not have the life experience to understand the different dynamics in relationships, understand the different vicissitudes of life. But because I am grown, I am thoroughly enjoying Kennedy Ryan's work. And yeah, like I said, I read the Skyland series, which was Before I Let Go, and also the e-art copy, shout out to NetGalley, for This Is Us. The third book in this series is coming out in 2025, and I just feel some type of way about that because I really want to read it now, but I'm gonna be cool. Keeping with the Kennedy Ryan theme as well as the Audible theme, I did listen to her Audible exclusive called Coming Home. Again, grown woman themes. Grown women fiction for grown women. It was so good. It was a romance and I ate it up, honey. It was delicious. It was just so cute and just, I loved it. I loved every piece of it. Yeah, so if you have not read any Kennedy Ryan, please gather your things, make your way down to the Barnes & Noble or wherever it is that you like to purchase your books, and make sure that you get into her catalog because Kennedy Ryan is out here eating up the girls, okay? She's eating us up. And I'm here for it. I'm here for every piece of it. The last book series that I'm going to mention is the Ethics series by Ashley Antoinette. And I'm looking like this because if you have read anything by Ashley Antoinette or her husband, Jaquavis Coleman, you already know. You already know the level of stress that takes over you as you're reading this book. So for the Ethics series, I am including Moth to a Flame and Christmas with the Okafors because it just keeps going and it just never ends, okay? I actually started on Thanksgiving Day with Moth to a Flame while I was cooking. I said, you know what? Let me go ahead and listen to a good little book. Who told me? Who told me? Who told me to read/listen to Moth to a Flame? Who did that? Who? I'm not gonna go too far on my thoughts on this series because that series is the reason why I'm starting this channel. My poor husband, because I was going off about every single book in the series. So I'm gonna do a standalone review for the Ethics series, which will include Moth to a Flame as well as Christmas with the Okafors. Ciao. So I started off, like I said before, listening to it on Audible. And then I was like, okay, let me go ahead and purchase because this is getting a little bit too good. And I'm going to read the rest of the way through. Baby, I needed to know what was going to happen. So I had to just finish listening via Audible. But I do plan on purchasing that entire series. So I have book 3 currently, which is my favorite book in the series. Just a little sneak peek on my review. Anyway, I have book 3, but I am going to purchase the entire catalog because I fought for my life. I fought for my life reading this series and I won. So I need the trophies. I need the trophies. That's all I'm going to say about Ethic, Ashley Antoinette, Jaquavis. That's all I'm going to say about them for right now because there will be a separate video on all of my thoughts regarding this series because there are many, okay? Child. Ethics series, baby. Whew. It's a lot. In the midst of all the foolery, I needed something light and soft and fluffy and squishy to read. So I also listened to By the Book by Jasmine Guillory, and y'all, the cutest romance ever. Just so cute. This was a retelling of Beauty and the Beast, and I lived for every minute. I found myself kicking and squealing and the whole way through this book. I just thought it was so cute. I heard a lot of good things about Jasmine Guillory. I want to read a lot more from her because that was just, it was so good. Ate it up, okay? I thoroughly enjoyed it. Rounding things back to Frida McFadden. I don't know why I read this. My Kindle, I ended up getting Frida's quick little novelette. I don't know what the correct terminology is, but I ended up getting The Gift by Frida McFadden, and wait, it just that book was so weird. It was so weird. I don't even think I'm gonna do a standalone review for that one, but chat, it was just so weird. Not my favorite by her, but I haven't given up hope on her. I heard a lot of reviews before reading it that it was bizarre and just like, what? But I wanted to read it anyway, so I did, and there's that. The book was only like 53 pages, I think. It was so weird. It was just, the word that keeps coming to me is weird. So read it at your own risk. You do you, I'm gonna do me. Don't say I didn't tell you. This year I did have one reread, and for me that was Fervent by Priscilla Shirer. I read this book years ago when it first came out, but I ended up rereading it this year because I do host a women's group, and they picked this book for our first little book club, and it was so good. It was so good. This is one of those books that you have to just kind of come back and reread every couple of years, okay? It's one of those books that's just going to be a blessing to your life and your walk with God. So if you have not read this book, I don't know where you've been, make sure you go pick it up. This is going to be a blessing to your life and your relationship with God. Excellent read. Along the same lines as Fervent, I read a book called Having a Mary Heart in a Martha World by Joanna Weaver. Again, this was a book that I read with the women's group, and it was so good. Definitely, just like Fervent, one of those books where you're going to have to come back and reread it and reapply it. This book was so good and so apropos specifically for me because the tagline is finding intimacy with God in the busyness of life, and I find myself busy a lot, and I really feel like the Most High is just having me to slow down, okay? And this book will definitely help you do that. Again, like I said before, this is a book that you're gonna have to come back and reread more than one time to really digest all that is within it. So this was really a great book. Make sure you go pick it up. I also read Black Girls Must Die Exhausted by Jane Allen, and this is a series as well, but I don't know if I'm gonna finish this series. I ain't got the strength. I don't have the strength. This was not a favorite of mine, but I don't know. We're gonna have to pray about it. We're gonna have to pray about it because this book, pun intended, left me exhausted, left me tired, sick and tired. So I don't know if I'm gonna finish it. This is a 3-book series. I think the next book is called Black Girls Must Be Magic, and then the last one is called Black Girls Must Have It All. And oh God, if somebody don't come help her, if somebody don't come to help, I don't know if I could withstand these books because it stressed me out, and not in a good way, not in a fun, exciting, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen next? It just stressed me out in a, I'm just gonna drain all your energy type of way. So yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna read, I don't know if I'm gonna finish that series. I don't know. Last but certainly not least, I listened to the autobiography of Columbus Short entitled Short Stories. I love me some Columbus Short. And listening to his story in his voice, in his words, baby, it was a ride. It was a ride. It was a ride, okay? It was very intense. I learned a lot of things about him that I did not know. Yeah, I was very shocked about some things not so much, but very shocked about other things. So if you like memoirs, definitely read his memoir or listen to it, whatever have you. Pick it up because it was so good, very informative. I think he's an incredible actor. And you know, when all the scandal and all this stuff came out about him or whatever have you, I was really sad. But listening to his story in his own words definitely kind of shifts some things and puts some things into perspective for me. So yeah, it was a great book. Thoroughly, thoroughly, thoroughly enjoyed it. So these were all 24 books and 2 possible. Oh, wait a minute. I didn't tell you the last possible. The last possible book, and I'm saying possible because I'm currently reading it, is Only for the Weak by Natasha Bishop. I have heard so many things about this, and obviously I'm reading this one on my Kindle. I've heard so many things about this book. I'm on chapter like 4, and I have thoughts. I have thoughts. I am definitely going to do a standalone review for this one as well, because I don't know. I just, so far, I don't know. You know, all the romance girlies have been like, oh my goodness, Rome is my man, and all this stuff. And Rome is cute. You know, I like Rome. But I don't know about this trope, though. I don't know. I don't know. So we shall see, okay? We shall see. So now these were all 24 books and 2 possible that I read in 2023. If you read any of these books, please make sure you hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you thought about them. If you had the same opinions that I have, let me know which books you definitely want me to do a standalone review on, and I'll get to it. So I love y'all. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I'll speak to y'all soon.